This is the entire lore and story of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic Seasons 1 to 7. Disclaimer, this video will not cover the Equestria Girls movies and specials or the 2017 feature film, as both will be done in separate videos. This video will also not cover the stories of the comics, other media, or previous generations of MLP, as this video is only telling the contiguous story of the main show. Let's begin! Long ago there lived 3 tribes, the Pegasi, the Unicorns, and the Earth Ponies. Though the tribes were divided, they all depended on one another for survival. The Earth Ponies, who are attuned to Earth, are known for their incredible strength, and were tasked with farming crops for all the tribes. In return, the Unicorns with their horns used their magic to raise and lower the sun and moon every day, while the Pegasi, with their wings, used their flight to control the weather needed to grow the crops. Everything changed when mythical creatures called Wendigos arrived and started a massive blizzard that destroyed most of the crops that the Earth Ponies had grown, causing a famine across all the tribes. A grand summit was held where each of the tribe leaders discussed what to do. The meeting didn't go too well, as the leaders blamed each other for the cause of the blizzard. The leaders and their number 2s all decided that they were to find new land themselves. Unbeknownst to them, all 3 tribes found the same plot of land and started the fight for it, drawing the attention of the Wendigo's blizzard, which had been feeding off the fighting and hatred of the tribe since the beginning. The leaders had no choice but to seek shelter in a cave where their fights and hearts continued to grow colder with the blizzard. Eventually, the leaders were completely frozen in ice. The tribe's number 2s fortunately saw how the fighting caused their leaders to freeze and agreed to be friends with each other, igniting the fire of friendship, which incinerated the Wendigos and melted the ice of their leaders and the land around. The 3 tribe leaders, seeing how harmony had conquered the coldness of hatred and grief, agreed to share the land they found and named it Equestria. Many years after the founding of Equestria, a powerful unicorn named Starswell was assigned to be the mentor of the 2 newly crowned princesses of the land, Celestia and Luna. The young princesses were powerful and supposedly immortal ponies known as alicorns. With a pair of wings and a horn, they had the ability of both flight and magic. They offered to help raise and lower the sun and moon respectively every day to bring balance to the land. Meanwhile, dangerous creatures coming in all shapes and sizes threatened to take advantage of the growth of the new pony nation. Brothers T-Rex and Scorpion were intent on stealing magic from Equestria. However, Scorpion came to appreciate the ways of the ponies and urged T-Rex to abandon their plans, to which he refused. Scorpion soon alerted the princesses, who then sent T-Rex to Tartarus, a place where ancient evil creatures are imprisoned. Sirens Adagio, Sonata, and Aria fed off ponies' negative energies to make their voices and magic more powerful, with the intention of conquering Equestria with their songs. A scholarly unicorn named Stygian brought together 6 of the land's greatest heroes, known as the Pillars of Old Equestria, to stop them. One of them being Starswell, who banished them to another world, believing their magic will cause no harm there. Stygian, believing he could fight alongside the Pillars, took artifacts from each of them to make copies. However, the Pillars misunderstood his intentions as being selfish and out of jealousy, and kicked him out for it. Having been cast away from the group he assembled, the darkness enveloped Stygian, and he transformed into a creature known as the Pony of Shadows. The Pillars responded by sacrificing themselves using a rock formation known as Ponehenge to trap the Pony of Shadows in limbo. Knowing this plan will trap themselves in limbo too, they infused a powerful seed with their magic that will one day grow into a force that could protect Equestria in their absence. The Pony of Shadows was summoned by the Pillars to Ponehenge, and its magic caused all of them to disappear into limbo, leaving behind each of the Pillars' artifacts to be scattered across Equestria, while the seed that the Pillars planted grew into a magical object known as the Tree of Harmony. Years later, the powerful and mischievous creature of chaos known as Discord turned Equestria into his playground, ruling it in a state of unrest and unhappiness for the ponies. Celestia and Luna, having discovered the Tree of Harmony, retrieved 6 magical artifacts contained within the tree known as the Elements of Harmony, knowing it was the only way to defeat Discord. In a standoff against Discord, Celestia and Luna wielded the 6 elements and defeated him, turning him into stone. But before his defeat, Discord planted several plunder seeds to steal the magic from the Tree of Harmony and capture Celestia and Luna. However, even without the elements contained in it, the tree continued to have enough magic to prevent the seeds from doing so. At this point, we are now about 1,000 years before the events of the show. In the Arctic north of Equestria, an evil unicorn named King Sombra took over the magical Crystal Empire inhabited by the Crystal Ponies and enslaved them. Celestia and Luna saw the suffering of the ponies in the north, and so overthrew and then banished him into the ice, but not before he was able to put a curse on the empire that caused it to vanish completely. Over time, tensions between Celestia and Luna heated up. Luna became jealous of her older sister's greater power and reign over the ponies, and one night refused to lower the moon for the sun. Despite Celestia's reasoning with her, she demanded greater power. The darkness in Luna turned her into a wicked mare known as Nightmare Moon and started to attack Celestia. Celestia refused to attack back at her sister, who she had been ruling with for many years, but soon had no choice but to use the Elements of Harmony against her. The elements banished her to the moon for 1,000 years, which Celestia dutifully regrets. This began the Great Celestia-Luna Rift. Celestia took over Luna's duty and raised both the sun and moon every day. Every year, an event called the Summer Sun Celebrations was thrown to commemorate the day of Luna's banishment. However, to Celestia this day was one of great regret and sorrow. Over time, ponies had begun to forget the time of an equestrian diarchy, and Princess Luna was forgotten from history. Enter the Sonic Rainboom event. Several years before the premiere, a young filly named Rainbow Dash performed the first ever Sonic Rainboom while in a flight race, and as a result caused her cutie mark to appear, setting in motion a chain of events related to her future friends' cutie marks. Cutie marks are symbols on a pony's flank that represents the pony's unique talents and abilities. It is naturally earned after a pony discovers his or her true talent. In this case, Rainbow Dash got hers for flying extremely fast, which makes her talent being an incredible flyer. They are a pretty big deal in equestrian culture. Back to the timeline, in the capital city of Canterlot, a talented young unicorn named Twilight Sparkle, with the help of Rainbow Dash's Sonic Rainboom, passes her entrance exam to Celestia's School for Gifted Unicorns, gains her own cutie mark, and becomes one of Celestia's pupils. Season 1. We're now at the premiere, the point where Friendship is Magic begins. Twilight Sparkle, now one of Princess Celestia's most faithful students, stumbles upon a book on predictions and prophecies. Twilight discovers that the mare on the moon will return on the longest day of the 1000th year and bring about everlasting night. Twilight writes a letter to warn Celestia, but Celestia soon replies back to tell her to focus on making friends and to help out at this year's Summer Sun celebrations held in Ponyville the next day. She travels to Ponyville along with her trustworthy baby dragon assistant Spike to check on her preparations for the celebration and meets Pinkie Pie, Applejack, Rarity, Fluttershy, and Rainbow Dash, who have all done their duties for the celebration. However, during the celebration, it is found that Celestia has been captured, and the menacing Nightmare Moon returns, showing herself in front of every pony and executing her plan for eternal night. Twilight Sparkle, upon seeing Nightmare, returns to predictions and prophecies to find that defeating Nightmare Moon requires one to possess the Elements of Harmony, currently hidden in the Everfree Forest. She plans to seek the elements herself, only to find Pinkie Pie, Applejack, Rarity, Fluttershy, and Rainbow Dash following along with her. Together, they faced obstacle after obstacle, with every pony using their unique abilities to pass each one. When the 6 ponies finally find and recover the elements, Nightmare Moon arrives and destroys the elements right in front of Twilight, Then, a spark ignites in Twilight, finally realizing that the spirits of the elements of harmony are embodied within the 5 friends she made, including herself, each representing a certain aspect of friendship, namely honesty, kindness, generosity, laughter, loyalty, and only when those 5 elements are present does the 6th element appear, magic. The elements are reborn as gems on necklaces, except magic, which is forged in a crown. The elements, wielded by the 6 ponies, create a rainbow-colored blast of magic that vanquishes Nightmare Moon, returning her to her original form, Princess Luna. Celestia returns with the sunrise and explains that Twilight had the magic to defeat Nightmare Moon when she let true friendship into her heart. It is then revealed to them that Princess Luna is Princess Celestia's long-lost little sister. Not wanting to leave Twilight's new medley friends behind, Princess Celestia assigns Twilight a new mission to learn as much about friendship as she can in her new home in Ponyville, which Twilight accepts. From then on, Twilight lives in Ponyville's Golden Oak Library. Together, Twilight and her friends are known as the Main 6. Twilight begins learning about friendship, sending letters to Celestia about her findings. She saw the birth of the Cutie Mark Crusaders, a group of 3 young ponies who had yet to earn their cutie marks on a mission to do what it takes to get theirs. A unicorn named Trixie that boasted about defeating an Ursa with her magic, only for every pony to find that she lied when a real Ursa invaded Ponyville and Twilight stepped in to put it back to sleep. She saw winter getting wrapped up by the ponies manually as tradition to prepare for the spring. Rainbow Dash overcoming all odds, performing her second Sonic Rainboom, and attending the Grand Galloping Gala in Camelot in an evening of unmet expectations and disaster. Season 2. After a minor squabble between the Cutie Mark Crusaders, Discord is suddenly freed from his stone state after 1,000 years and returns to wreak chaos, turning Ponyville into the chaos capital of the world. The Main 6, upon overcoming the challenges Discord has placed, defeats Discord and traps him in stone again with the elements of harmony. Twilight, along with her friends, continues learning about friendship, sending letters to Celestia. Queen Chrysalis, the leader of the dangerous creatures that feed on others' love called changelings, infiltrates Canterlot and takes Princess Cadence's place in her wedding with Twilight Sparkle's older brother, Shining Armor, by using a changeling's unique ability to disguise as any other being. Twilight eventually finds the original Princess Cadence trapped in a dungeon and frees her, which brings Chrysalis to reveal herself during the wedding. Chrysalis and Celestia have a standoff, while Twilight and her friends go get the elements of harmony. Though they had an epic fight, they eventually lost. However, with the power of love that the real Princess Cadence brought to Shining Armor, they banished all the changelings, including Queen Chrysalis, to lands far away in one fell swoop. They get married afterwards. Season 3. The Crystal Empire reappears after vanishing for 1,000 years. King Sombra, in a weakened shadow form, attempts to regain control. Twilight is sent to the Crystal Empire to help save it as part of a test by Princess Celestia, and their friends accompany her. After setting up a crystal fair to raise the spirits of the crystal ponies, Twilight finds the Crystal Heart, an ancient relic that protects the Empire from the heavy snow of the north, and sends Spike to deliver it. With the Crystal Heart in place, the Crystal Ponies use the love and light within them to defeat Sombra. Princess Cadence is recognized as the Crystal Princess and rules the Empire with her husband, Prince Shining Armor. As a request by Princess Celestia, Discord is freed once again from his stone prison to be reformed, so that his magic can be used for good instead of evil, a feat which Fluttershy accomplishes. And Discord is now friends with the ponies.
Yay!
Twilight Sparkle receives a book from Princess Celestia which is said to contain Starswell's secret unfinished spell. The spell which Twilight casts unknowingly switches her friends' cutie marks, causing them to question their destiny. Twilight, knowing she needs to fix this, assembles them and cures them one by one. Through the adventure, Twilight finally finishes the secret spell and creates new magic. This new magic is, of course, friendship, in which Starswell was unable to accomplish long ago. The creation of this new magic earns her a new title of princess and becomes an alicorn in the process. Season 4. The summer sun celebrations in Camelot is suddenly disrupted when the plunder seeds that Discord planted a millennia ago begin to sprout, invading Equestria and capturing Princess Celestia and Princess Luna. Twilight, upon drinking a time-traveling vision potion, sees the Tree of Harmony. Twilight and her friends return the elements of harmony to the Tree of Harmony and destroy the plunder seeds, releasing Princess Celestia and Princess Luna in the process. The tree, however, sprouts a chest that has 6 locks for 6 keys. Celestia and Luna are unsure of how to open it, but tells Twilight that she'll definitely need her friends to help unlock the chest. Rarity, Rainbow Dash, Pinkie Pie, Fluttershy, and Applejack eventually find their keys while helping other ponies discover their element of harmony. This leaves 1 key left for Twilight to discover. One night, T-Rex escaped from Tartarus was seen in Celestia's vision, and so she elects Discord to stop him. This plan backfires, however, as Discord betrays the princesses and allies with T-Rex in his plan to steal all of Equestria's magic. The princesses know that stealing Alicorn magic will be T-Rex's ultimate goal, and so they transfer all their magic to Twilight, since T-Rex is unaware of the new princess. Twilight, who now has the magic of 4 alicorns, goes into hiding. T-Rex eventually finds out about Twilight and seeks to find her. T-Rex then betrays Discord while Twilight continues to practice with her new powers. However, she stumbles upon T-Rex while teleporting. Twilight and T-Rex engage in an insane magic duel that leads to the destruction of the Golden Oaks Library and pretty much the landscape outside Ponyville. T-Rex then offers Twilight a trade of releasing her imprisoned friends for all the magic in Equestria. Twilight agrees despite her friends' protests. Discord, repentant of his actions, gives a medallion given to him by T-Rex to Twilight as a sign of true friendship. Believing this to be the final key needed to open the chest, Twilight and her friends race to the Tree of Harmony and unlock the chest. The unlocked chest gives Twilight and her new friends new rainbow power that derives from their friendship and defeats T-Rex, as well as bringing every pony's magic back. The chest then flies into the sky and implants itself in a spot near Ponyville. The chest then grows into a new castle. The new castle is now Twilight's, now crowned as the Princess of Friendship by Celestia. Season 5. In the Castle of Friendship, the main 6 discovers a map containing all of Equestria. The map summons all of them to a small village that housed ponies with equal signs as their cutie marks. All of this is the work of Starlight Glimmer, a unicorn who believes true friendship is achieved through every pony being equal. As such, she replaces the main 6's cutie marks, imprisoning and brainwashing them until they accept their new equal fate. Starlight is then revealed to have not been equalized, and so the entire village goes after her and their old cutie marks. Seeing her plan foiled, she runs away with the main 6's marks already in her possession, only to be stopped by the unique talents of the newly recovered villagers, allowing the main 6 to get their cutie marks back. After Twilight's failed attempt at trying to reason with her, Starlight escapes into the caves, the village is restored, and the inhabitants live happily together with their new marks. The map signals a job well done. The map continues to summon various pairs of the main 6 to various locations to solve friendship problems of not just ponies, but all sorts of creatures across Equestria. At the same time, the roots of the destroyed Golden Oak Library are now hung up on the ceiling of the new castle as a memoir of how far they have come. The Cutie Mark Crusaders eventually get their cutie marks at the exact same time in helping others find their purpose in life, and Princess Cadence and Shining Armor announce that they're having a baby. Starlight Glimmer seeks to take revenge on Twilight by traveling back in time with the help of an ancient spell to stop the first Sonic Rainbow from happening. As a result of Starlight's interference with history, several alternate timelines are created that were filled with war, suffering, and darkness. Starlight reveals in her backstory that it was because of her old best friend Sunburst getting his cutie mark that she didn't get to see him again, and wanted to develop a society where no one will be judged by a cutie mark. Twilight reasons with her, Starlight is reformed and becomes Princess Twilight's first pupil. Season 6. Princess Canes gives birth to Florryheart, the first naturally born alicorn in Equestria. The main six and the royal sisters travel to the Crystal Empire to help with the new baby's crystalling, when suddenly Florryheart breaks the Crystal Empire's crystal heart, and the Empire is once again vulnerable to the snow of the Arctic North. Meanwhile, Starlight reunites with Sunburst. Upon being notified of the enveloping snow, Sunburst and Starlight brings to the rest a spell to fix the heart, and with the magic of the princesses, Sunburst and the rest of the Crystal Empire, the Crystal Heart is restored along with the Empire. Soon, a rogue changeling is discovered in the Crystal Empire, which causes the whole city to be under lockdown. Spike eventually finds the starving changeling named Thorax and learns that he is nice and different from the other changelings. Spike eventually persuades the Crystal Empire to accept the changeling into the family and succeeds. Starlight continues her apprenticeship under Twilight, adapting into her new life and making new friends such as Twilight's old rival, Trixie. While Starlight and Trixie were away from Ponyville, Queen Chrysalis returns with her army of changelings, effectively capturing all of the most powerful ponies in Equestria, leaving Starlight with only Trixie, Thorax, and Discord to rescue them from the changeling hive. Discord and Trixie fall into the changelings' traps and are captured, while Starlight and Thorax make it into the throne room, only to come face to face with Chrysalis. Chrysalis proceeds to drain the love from Thorax that he has collected from the Crystal Empire. Starlight instead tells him to share it with Chrysalis willingly. This transforms Thorax into a new colorful form. The other changelings follow suit, sharing love instead of stealing it, and take on similar colorful forms. The resulting magical energy destroys Chrysalis' throne, and the ponies that the changelings captured are all freed. While the changelings changed, Chrysalis did not, and rejects Starlight's offer to reform, and swears inconceivable revenge upon her before flying away. Season 7. Starlight, Trixie, Discord, and Thorax are awarded Pink Hearts of Courage by Twilight for their heroism during the Changeling invasion, and Starlight graduates from being Twilight's student, but continues to stay in Twilight's castle. Sunburst discovers Starswell's lost journal in an antique store in Ponyville, and learns that Starswell and the Pillars are still trapped in limbo, and alerts the main six and Starlight. Without much thought, they gather the artifacts of the Pillars to Ponehenge and free Starswell and the Pillars, as well as the Pony of Shadows from limbo. Twilight soon finds a spell that could send the Pony of Shadows back to limbo without sacrificing the Pillars, using the combined magic of the Pillars' artifacts and the magic of the elements of harmony contained from the tree that grew from the seed that the Pillars have planted. The whole team goes to find the Pony of Shadows and opens the portal. While the Pony of Shadows is being pushed into the portal by the magic of the artifacts and elements, Twilight sees Stygian's true form within the darkness and flies inside. Twilight finds Stygian despairing over his friend's betrayal and only wanted their respect. He explains his motives behind taking their artifacts, and the Pillars overhear their conversation, realizing their misunderstanding. The main six and the Pillars of Old Equestria work together to pull Stygian from the darkness with their magic, and the darkness gets sucked into the portal to Limbo. Soon, Starswell is reunited with his old pupils, Celestia and Luna, and the Pillars decide to each see what has become of their old homes. So, that was MLP Friendship is Magic Seasons 1 to 7 summarized. This video was edited by the Space Pony and voiced by yours truly, JarrodFeng. Do check out their channels if you haven't already. If this video is well received, we might get the Equestria Girls and MLP movie summaries out sooner, so do stay tuned to this space. Thanks for watching, and see you all in Season 8.